Hi, and welcome to my video on graphing powers of a binomial. This is a polynomial with two terms, and it's going to be x to the x negative b. Graph powers of a binomial, x to the negative b. It all starts with a linear, and this is a linear. Y equals x, and a linear is a line. When x is 2, y is 2, x is 1, y is 1, 0, 0, negative 1, x is negative 1, y is negative 1, x is negative 2, y is negative 2. And we graph that 2, 2, 1, 1, 0, 0, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 2. So as you can see, this is a line that's going up to the middle, and it's y equals x. And notice that as it moves up to the right from the x-intercept, and it has a 0, so x equals 0 has 1 root when x equals 0. So what about y equals x squared? We know this to be a parabola. So when x is 2, y is 4. When x is 1, y is 1. When x is 0, y is 0. X is negative 1 squared is 1. Negative 2 squared is 4. And this is a parabola. 2 gives 4. 1 is 1. 0 is 0. Negative 1 gives 1. X is negative 1, y is 1. X is negative 2, y is 4. And notice we've graphed this before. This is the basic or parent equation. The basic equation of a parabola. And notice it's a parabola. Notice the vertex is 0, 0. And also another idea here that it's tangent. The parabola, this is the vertex is 0, 0. The vertex of the parabola is 0, 0. Notice it's going up to the right here, and over here is going up to the left. And the vertex is 0, 0 is tangent at 0, and it's an x squared equals 0. So that's 2 x's, and it's tangent. X squared is x times x. And a third one that we haven't discussed yet is the power of x cubed. So if you put 2 in, 2 cubed is, is 8, 1 cubed is 1, 0 cubed is 0, negative 1 cubed is negative 1, negative 1, negative 1, which is negative 1, and negative 2 cubed is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which is negative 8. So we graph that. 2 gives me 8 for the y. 1 is 1. When x is 0, y is 0. When x is negative 1, y is negative 1. X is negative 1, y is negative 1. When x is negative 2, y is negative 8. And that's way down here. And notice this graph is coming down, comes down. It loops in like this. And again, this is the basic equation for y equals x cubed. Notice how it goes with it like a sideways s. X cubed. And x cubed equals 0. So it's an x times an x times an x equals 0. So there's 3. So y equals x cubed is a sideways s going through 0, 0. Y equals x squared is a parabola, tangent at 0. And y equals x is linear. So what I want to do now is look at those two in relation to the graphing calculator. So let's put the graphing calculator here, and we'll turn on the graphing calculator. In the graphing calculator, I already have, I got to clear that. I already have the 3 equations that we just discussed. Notice the first one. is y equals x. Second one is y equals x squared. And the third one is y equals x cubed. So I have to highlight on y equals x, and we'll graph that. There it is. It's a line going straight through. That's similar to the one I just did, or is the one I just did, only I have the windows cut off or restricted in how far I can go. So what I'm going to do now is, once you learn how to use this, so now I'm going to highlight this one and graph. This is y equals x squared, which is the parabola. And watch it. There it is. Notice the vertex is 0, 0 and moving upward because it's positive. So let's go back and we'll go over and we'll take that highlight off. We'll go down to the next one, highlight that one. So here comes the graph of y equals x cubed. And you can see that it's a sideways S coming down from here. Notice again, when S is 2, you get an 8. If when you had x is 3, you would get a 27, really high. So notice the graph. So let's move on and do a few more. Here we go. Now let's look at the graph of y equals x minus 2. The x-intercept here is negative 2. Sorry, x minus 2, the x-intercept, x is equal to 2 as the x-intercept. So that's when x is 2, y is 0. So this is the x-intercept. It moved 2 to the right. So this is when you let x equals 0, y is negative 2. X is 0, y is negative 2. So this line, this is still the line, but the x-intercept now is 2. So it's moved 2 to the right. And it's still, notice, is positive, is going up to the right. And we have y equals x minus 2 squared. Again, the x-intercept is 2. It moved 2 to the right. It moved 2 over. And notice it's a parabola. And because it is square, so that means it will go up like this. And when x is 0, y is 4. So you can see. So when you let x equals 0, y becomes 4, which is here. So when x is 4, right here, if x is 4, put a 4 in. 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4. So you can see that this is the parabola shifted 2 to the right. But it's tangent at x equals 2. Notice the vertex is x is 2, y is 0. But the thing is, the power of 2, any power of 2, and x minus b, which is the binomial here, will give you a parabola at that x-intercept. Notice this is a power of 1, so it's a linear moving on through from one side, positive here, y's are positive on this side of the 2, and negative, the y's are negative on this side of the 2. And we have an x cubed. Now we can do a table of values just to check, but it's moved. The x-intercept is 2. You put a 2 in, you get a 0. You put a 3 in, you get a 1. Cubed is 1. You put a 4 in, and you get 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 cubed is 8. You put a 1 in, you get a negative 1 cubed is negative 1. And you put a 0 in, you get a negative 2 cubed is negative 8. So if you graph that very quickly, you can see that it's moved. The initial graph, the basic graph we had on the previous page, it's moved 2 to the right. So the x-intercept is 2. And I did the table of values just to show you. When you have a 2, when x is 2, y is 0. When x is 3, y is 1. When x is 4, y is 8. Right here. When x is 1, y is negative 1. When x is 1, y is negative 1. When x is 0, y is negative 8. And so it's the same graph, only it's shifted. Notice. It's a sideways S. So notice, x is the degree of 1 right here. So it's a linear moving through at 2. This is a quadratic, and the x-intercept is 2, so it's a parabola moving upward. If that was a negative, this would move downward. If this was negative right here, then this would go down this way. And if this was negative, this would be turned over and reflected, and like this. And again, the negative means it's reflected, it's turned over. Again, notice it's coming in at a sideways S, x cubed, the cubed. Okay, let's do some more just to explain, make sure. Notice this time I have the negative of it. So now the x-intercept is x equals 1. So x is 1 this time, right here. But it's a negative, and that means it's going down. So it's a linear, so it's doing this. And again, when x equals 0, 0 minus 1 is negative 1. The negative of negative 1 is 1. So the x-intercept, when y is 0, x is 1. When x is 0, y is 1. When y is 0, x is 1. Okay, and there's the line. It's moving down from the x-intercept of 1. It's opening down. Now we have a parabola whose x-intercept is negative 1. Sorry, you got to be careful. We have a parabola, so x minus 1 equals 0, so x equals 1. The x-intercept is 1. Put a 1 in here and I get a 0 right here. Got to be careful. And it's a parabola that's opening down because of the negative. So it's opening down. If you put a 0 in, 0 minus 1 is negative 1 squared is 1, so you get a negative 1. You put a 2 in, 2 minus 1 is 1, 1 squared is 1, negative 1. So you can see that this is a parabola opening down. And it's still tangent at x equals 1. Tangent is a line that's drawn touching the graph, intersecting the graph at one point. So this is the x-axis is the tangent at the 1. And this is a cube. And with the cube, the x-intercept is 1. So this is the 2, the 3, the 0, negative 1. Put a 1 in, you get a 0. Cubed is 0. Put a 2 in, you get a 1 cubed is 1 minus 1. Put a 3 in, you get a 2. 2 cubed is 8 minus negative 8. Put a 0 in, you get negative 1 cubed is negative 1. Negative of a negative 1 is 1. Put a negative 1 in, you get a negative 2. Cubed is negative 8. Negative of a negative 8 is 8. So you can see it's reversed, flipped over. So 3 gives negative 8. 2, negative 1. 1 gives 0. 0 gives 1. And negative 1 is 8. So notice the graph is coming up from here. So you come up, up, up. And notice it's going to, this is the intercept. So it's, after you leave this one, it goes into here, like this. And it hits right here. So it's, the bend is occurring right here. Just takes a while to get used to drawing this sideways S. But you'll see it on a graph. You'll see the bend like this right here. And that indicates that it's a cube on this binomial. Okay. And I want to show you, again, I'll show you a couple of those before I move on. Let's go down and clear some of these out. I want to clear these out now. They're not there. And let's do a bracket on the x, subtract, no, that's a negative. So I have, because that's a negative, I had to be careful. I have to use a subtraction sign, so that's subtract 1. And I have to square it. So I'm going to do the graph on that one. And notice it's a parabola moved 2 units to the right, because the x-intercept is 2. Again, notice the power is 2, so it's a parabola. It's a looping, loops upward. And let's go through and do the power. Notice when we do a square, this graphing calculator got a square button right here. I just hit this. But if you want to do of any power, you hit the arrow first and then hit the 3. So that's being cubed now. So let's see what happens. You can see that it's positive, so it's coming down from the right, hitting at 2. Notice the little loop here that indicates it's a cube. Just wanted to explain. Now we have another page to do. Some more. Match the equation to the graph. So I have 6 graphs, 6 equations. So if you look at y equals x plus 1 squared, notice all of them, or some of them, got an x plus 2. Okay. That's x plus 1 squared. That's a parabola whose x-intercept is plus 1. So if the x plus 1 squared, so the x-intercept is negative 1. And it's opening up. So there it is right here. So this is number 1. This is x plus 1. Again, negative 1 is the intercept. So it's a linear. It's 1. So it's going upward because it's positive right here. So this is number 2. And this is, again, the x-intercept is a negative 1. And it's a cube with the loop, but it's opening downward. So it's either this one, which is the curve, or it's this one. So this is number 3. Because it's a negative, it's going down on the right and up on the left. And this is a x minus 2. So do I have a minus 2, or did I? Oh, I just forgot to make that a 1. Because I kept all of them at 1, but for some reason I put a plus 2 in there. So the x-intercept again is minus 1. But the parabola, because of the square, it's a loop, but it's opening down. So it's number 4 here. So the x-intercept is negative 1, and it's a parabola opening down. So that's a square. Remember, this is a linear. This is the linear. This is a square. This is a cube, and this is a cube. So right here we have an x-intercept of negative 1, but it's opening down on the right. So it's this one is number 5. It's a linear, because degree is 1. And number 6, the x-intercept again is a negative 1, and it's a cube, and it's opening up on the right. So here, this is right here. This is number 6. So notice the cubes are right here. This is a cube, and this is a cube, but this is a negative. This is a quadratic of x squared, but it's negative, is opening down. This is a quadratic of x squared, but it's opening up because it's a plus. This is a linear, and there's a positive here, and this is a negative right here. Okay. Because you have to know, the most important, the one that you're not familiar with is the one with the cube. So let's pause the video and see if you can graph these. Just a rough sketch graph. You don't have to be accurate perfectly. So here I go. Again, I have the x-intercept at 3. So that means it's over on this side right here at 3. Because it's a square, it's going to be a parabola. It's going to bounce off, and it's a plus, so it's going up. So it's like this. If you want to check, if you let x equal 0, you'll get a 9. x is 0, negative 3 squared is 9. So this right here is as a 9. So that's a parabola square. Number 2, I have an x-intercept of negative 2. The x-intercept is negative 2 right here. It's a cube. A cube is the s, but it's negative. That means it's down here coming up. So if I find the y-intercept, if I let x equal 0, 0 plugged in here will give me a 2. 2 cubed is 8. That's a negative 8. So this is pretend that's a negative 8 right there. I don't have to mark them off. So it's coming up from here like this. Here it goes. It's coming up to the negative 8. Keeps coming up. So when you get close to the negative 2, you do the loop. And then you see it. Don't have to be exact. The main thing is to see this loop that's going sideways here. There it is right there. That indicates the cube. And this is a x-intercept is x equals 4. So let's move over to 4. There's the 4. That's a 5. So this stays right there. It's a negative, so it's going to go down on the right. And it's a parabola, so it's looping. There's like this. And this, notice this tangent at 4, cutting the x-axis at 1 point because that's the vertex. Notice the vertex here. This is the vertex, and the vertex is 3, 0. The vertex here is 4, 0, but it's going down, and it's tangent. And if we let x equal 0, we get x equals 0, we get negative 4 squared is 16, so that's negative 16. So that's a negative 16 here. And the y-intercept tells me if I'm going in the right direction. And the x-intercept here is negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's negative 5. So there's the x-intercept. And it's a cube. A cube is an s. So we let x equals 0, plus the y-intercept would be 4 cubed, which is 64. So that's way up here. In other words, way up the page. On, up, up, up. But you know that the y-intercept is over here. So that means the curve is coming down. And when it does, it's going to hit, it's coming down like this. It's going to hit here. And then it's going to go. So there's the s. That s is the main part of this curve. It's a cube. And notice it's opening up on the right because it's positive. And number 5, we have a line. The x-intercept is 2, which is right here. That's a 2. And it's opening down because the linear is 1. So that means it's opening down on the right. So it's going down through here like this. So that means it's moving back up here. It's a linear. And if you let x equals 0, x is 0, that's a negative 2. The negative of a negative 2 is 2. So this is a 2 here. So that have a linear. Again, this is a quadratic parabola going upward. And the vertex is 3, 0. This is a sideways S, I call it, with right at the intercept. You get this looping little, like this sideways. This is a parabola that opens downward at the 4. This is, again, the sideways S that intersects at 4, negative 4, opposite. And it comes down with the sideways S. There it is there. And this is the linear. So hopefully you've seen the powers of a linear goes on through, quadratic bounces off, tangent, vertex, and the cubic is the sideways S. And if you like my video, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content that's on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.